And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
Hello, everybody, and happy Saturday to you. And if you're on the other side of the planet, then happy Sunday to you as well. All right, we're into 2023. It's a new year, and I hope you guys all have an amazing 2023. So, we don't have anybody here yet. So if you are there and you're wondering how to join, below the video in the description, you'll see the room. I think they call it the room ID or meeting ID. I have to kind of take a look at it myself to take a look. But it'll say the Zoom ID, and then it'll also say the passcode. So you go to Zoom and you click join a meeting. And then once you do, it'll ask you for the Zoom ID, and you key that in. And then you will ask for the passcode, and you key that in, and then you should be right here. See up top, it says somebody entered the waiting room, and that should get you into the waiting room. And since he is here, let's get him in. And we'll see what's, excuse me, going on with him today. We're waiting for him. Where is he? He is our good friend from Europe. And we'll get them in here.
Hello.
There you are. How are you?
Good. I was a bit worried because my audio on YouTube suddenly fell silent. One moment,
Okay, you
please.
are?
I'm for the security. I'm muting that stream. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
While you're doing that,
it's muted.
let me tell somebody the passcode because they want to know the passcode. It is capital D 48, capital X, lowercase u, and then number 1. I hope that helps.
It's under the video on YouTube.
And someone else. Supernatural Experiences. Thank you for posting that. All right, so welcome.
And now,
Hello.
I got to get my buttons right. There's a proper welcome for you. We have to give you an applause to welcome you. All right, there you are. How are you? And Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you.
Happy New Year to everyone over there.
Thank you.
Well, I'm great. I'm
All
doing
right.
great.
What do you have to share with us this week?
It's been a weird week. Well, possibly more about dreams.
Yes.
Right now, the voice of my soulmate has been like enigma, a faceless voice in my head.
Okay.
But yesterday she showed a dream where she died.
Wow. What does that
So
mean?
I know how she looks now.
Now,
Well,
do you hear her voice only in dreams, or do you hear it in a waking state as well?
well, I channel her. It's a channeling thing.
Okay.
A channeling thing. So I speak. She speaks through me, through my higher self, through my mouth.
Do you think that you?
And
Sorry to interrupt you, but do you think that you could ever channel her while we're here live together?
Well, that's the problem, because my whole situation is basically made so it doesn't affect my life. So it's basically she feels like me, she acts like me, and she well, basically she has my whole personality down.
Okay.
She knows me, every minute detail about me she knows, and she uses that to make it look like I'm her and she's me. So you won't notice the difference. It's just like just talking to me.
Are you saying
channeling doesn't seem fun to me?
Are you saying that I could be possibly talking to her right now?
No, there's 2 more voices. They are my spirit guides. They are like babysitters, and you could possibly be talking to them right now, because they they basically babysit me. They basically everything I do, they basically mimic my functions, so to speak.
Okay.
So basically, you could be speaking to them, but she's silent in the background, and when she needs to talk, she talks.
So she
But yeah, in short, yeah.
so you actually got to see her now in a dream.
Mhm.
What does she look like?
She looks well. It was funny because I had a crush on a Japanese girl
Mm,
when I was 5.
yeah.
No, 15. Sorry, 5, 5, 15. Dutch. um, and she had a short bob cut, orange coat, very light face, big lips. Yeah, I had a crush on her, and we dated a bit, and then she left for another one, and I didn't mind that at all. She basically yeah, she basically looks like if you search up Aya Euto, A Greek I A U E T O. That's a singer and an actress.
Mm,
She looks like her.
mm,
Bit more stressed out in the face, but she looks like her. So she doesn't look like my crush, but she looks like her the most. I saw her in a leather jacket. She was wearing a really early 2000s outfit, so with bangles and stuff. And basically in the dream, she was on an airport, and I was saying goodbye to her. So she was with her parents, and she was planning to go. And I hugged her, and she left. And sorry, I did the burp. um, she died in the plane crash,
mm,
and my dream literally ended with a news report that they crashed in the Indian mountains.
mm. So
So yeah,
are you
basic yeah,
are you saying that she looks exactly like the girl that you had a crush on or dated, or similar?
similar.
Similar. Okay.
It's my theory that we are all looking for our soulmates in love. So we all find the features that we love the most about them in others. And the more those features stick, the closer we become. And it's really good for love here, at least. Otherwise, this place would even suck even more.
Were
But
you su-
yeah,
were you su-
uh,
were you surprised to see that she looked Japanese?
no, she had hints to it. Like I mean, I love Japanese things, so I already know a few things. I can already understand a few Japanese things, but she knows things like I don't know. So basically, she can read kanji without any hassle. And when I'm on the internet and she uses me, she's like, "Oh, let's do this, and let's find this music video." And I'm like, okay. There's one more detail I like to add.
Okay.
Um, like our timeline is here, a- and this is the early 2000s. It's like 2006, 2007. Her timeline is like here, and it's the 90s, but their technology is from 2006, 2007. So they're behind in time, but they were further in technology.
Mm,
And they had movies and stuff like those times, like 2006, like Avatar and so. Um, yeah, that's a really weird detail, but I saw that in my dream when I saw we had a flat screen TV. Like, why do we have a flat screen TV in early 90s
yeah.
when it's supposed to be the early 90s? Well, that was a weird dream, and to be fair, I did see her other forms, but those are future forms. This is her real self, her self like my life here. So that's the difference. So I know how she looks in her past life, and I'm gonna know what she's gonna look like in her future life. Not that
Interesting.
it's gonna help me, because I'm pretty sure she's gonna look like a light being when I'm passing over.
Well, what did she look like in the future?
Well, she had the many forms. One, wait a minute. Here, oh yeah. It's here. No, it's not. I've done it. Well, I sketched a few, but it's not gonna work because I can't find my book. Oh, my book is over there. One moment.
All right.
Ooh, it's too far. I started doing art because of my psychosis, like here, like these.
Mm-hmm.
First, she has red hair, and she's a woods types person, so she's really green and likes to go outside. Another life of her is her in a wheelchair, and it's weird because I'm in this body, so it's another life where I need to live in this body. I don't mind that. I remember carrying her up the stairs, and my mom being happy to see her. Then she has a Greek life with curly hair. I messed up the drawing, and then she has this was very long ago. A 15-year-old girl, not African American, but some type of race that doesn't exist here. She does look vaguely like someone I know online, but not a lot.
Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing your experience, your dream, and what she looks like.
Yeah, I think that's about it for now. I'll tell you more next week.
All right. Thanks you. Take care. Have a great rest of your evening.
Yeah, have a nice day. Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, I missed it just before he got off. Do you hear the applause? Ah, yeah, anyways. Oh, you okay? That's right, you won't hear it. All right, next up, I believe this is going to be Jennifer Morris. Let's see. Who was a recent podcast guest about a week or two ago.
Oops, I'm here.
There you are. All right.
Hi.
Hi, Jennifer.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again. Happy New Year.
You too.
And welcome.
Thank you.
So Jennifer was, I think your podcast came out like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. If you guys haven't seen it, you should check it out. Do you remember what number it was? I have to look myself because I don't even remember. I forget these things. Let me see. It's probably, where are you? I'm trying to do it quickly and I'm not doing a good job. I think you are number 673. She was giving a warning for humanity.
Right.
That's the one it was. So recently, Jennifer shared with me on Facebook some orb videos. Now, I don't know if she's going to be able to share screen or not. I'm going to make it available so you're welcome to.
Okay.
I don't know how to tell you to do it on your phone because I don't ever even use Zoom on your phone, but maybe somewhere at the bottom it'll say, somewhere it should say share screen. And I'm not sure if you can do it from a phone or not. I've never actually, like I said, that's something I never attended.
I don't see anything beside your name.
Oh, all right. Well, last time we talked about a map. Did you ever draw the map of the future United States?
Yes, I did. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I may be able to get back into it. 1 second.
Okay. See this here if I can notes from that one.
Both of them are on my Facebook page.
Okay. What is your Facebook page?
It's Jennifer Morris. It's a picture of me waving, and there's a tiger behind me.
All right. So if you guys want to look at it there, and and during her NDE, she had a warning for humanity, and that's what we discussed. And then she came here maybe a week or two ago during our Saturday Night Live, and we were discussing a map of the future United States. And I said, I think it reminds me of the one from, what was that guy's name? Gordon Michael Scallion, I think, also had it kind of
yeah?
end of the U.S. map, where basically, you know, half of the U.S. is divided into two countries almost, because the Mississippi River becomes so big that it, you know, it's giant. You like, Louisiana is completely underwater. That's how wide it is. And part of Texas.
Yeah, let me try the orb video.
All right, we're going to see if we can see her orbs.
Oh, sorry, I'm a little technically challenged.
That's all right. That's not easy to do. Like I said, it's much easier to do if you're on a computer.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, I just wanted to say thank you again to Madiac 1980. He gave me this tie, and I was going to wear it last week, and I forgot. So I want to wear it this week.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of cool is probably a lot of you here were around in the 80s. And in the old days in the 80s, ties were skinny. And I've been wanting to get some skinnier ties. And this is kind of like a skinny tie. So I think it's really cool. I'm ready for the... I'm ready.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm ready for the fashion to go back to skinny ties.
I found it. Now, I'm not sure how to share it with you.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Like I said, I've never done it from the phone, so I don't even know. I'm not sure about that. While she's looking for it, if you would like to come on and be with me live, it's very easy. All you have to do is go to Zoom, you click join a meeting, and then it'll ask you for the meeting ID, and that's right below the video in the description. And then it'll ask you for the passcode, and that is also there. So you're welcome to come and join me. We have 187 viewers here, so at a very low percent of about 1%, we should have at least...
I think I sent you a link.
Yeah, but that won't work about sharing. Won't work. Yeah, about sharing live. It's okay. Let's talk about something else. There was something else that you were going to come last week and you wanted to talk about, and I forgot. Do you remember?
Yeah. The last couple of weeks since I did my story with you, really, actually, since the day that my NDE happened, and then I woke up a few days later, I have been thinking about my NDE and analyzing it literally every single day this past year, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just sitting here thinking about, I was talking to a few people, and they were saying, maybe you'll get more visions down the road. And I was thinking about, what can connect. I just kept thinking that in my mind. What would connect, and saying it over and over again. And I recalled a few things that had happened to me, and I could not figure out what they meant. And I still don't know what, one of the things meant. There was one day my husband and I were driving down the tollway. It was dark.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I had this unbelievable bright flash of gold and copper, and there was a Roman numeral tablet right in front of me, and I had to shield my eyes, but in that split second I was able to copy down Roman numerals. And this is the paper that I originally wrote it on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that happened to me. It's a weird place for it to happen, driving in a car. It didn't make sense to me. I really don't know what it means, but the numbers add up to 35.
35. Interesting. I don't
but
know.
That's kind of close to the message I was given about the ocean opening up and land being pulled away. That was told to me that possibly 30 years. So, I'm trying to connect things so they make sense for me. The other thing that happened last December was the orb video. And, I just opened the door and to let the dogs out. I seen this thing in the sky and I'm like, that's not an airplane. What is that? And it seemed to get closer and closer to me. It really was not that far off from my door. I would say it's only like one street over and a couple houses back, and it was low. And I'm staring at it and it's changing colors and moving. And I just got the sense that it was for me. It was meant to be seen by me. And I didn't take a really long video because I had COVID. I was really sick, but I don't know what that is either. And there was another night that I'm pretty sure it was something that I remembered. It wasn't a dream. There were two smaller gray aliens hovering off the floor next to my bed, staring at me. And I don't know how long after it was, but I realized that they went down the hall to go to my daughter. And I got up and I ran down the hall to make sure there's nothing in her room, and there was nothing there. So I am really thinking that these three things are connected to my NDE somehow.
And do you think that only you can see these things and nobody else, and that's because of your NDE?
These things happened prior to my NDE. Maybe they were trying to, wake my mind up or give me messages, but they always were just odd things that had happened. And, I'm not really sure that when we die, what is going to happen totally. There's so many different NDE stories, and I have not gotten the feeling that it's God like we see God, or Jesus like we see Jesus. I have a feeling that, I said before that I thought it was all energy based, and I believe that's what it is, but there's something else going on. And I don't want to say it pertains to aliens, but who knows?
What do you think
I mean,
it
how am I
is?
supposed to? What's that?
What do you think else is going on?
I think I'm somehow something, energy, higher power, whatever it is, has picked me to get messages. I was talking to an individual that was believing that I've had alien contact my whole life. Anything's possible, but I don't know. My dad was in the military, and he had a friend that told him stuff, and he would talk to me about his time in the military, and he definitely believed in them. Told me some stories, and I definitely believe in it, that it's a possibility, but I don't know how it all correlates with the afterlife, if there's some connection or not. There was also a few days back, I had woke up, and when this happens to me and something like hits me, I have to write it down immediately. And I started writing down elements from the periodic table, and numbers correlating with those elements, and things that had to do with measurements of the universe and how the universe works, and basically quantum physics. I mean, I have no clue anything about quantum physics. So I don't know why this would be a dream, a memory, a vision. I mean, I don't know. And it's I keep wondering if these are things that I'm supposed to be figuring out. So
Yeah, I don't know. Do you feel like you keep getting downloads or something?
yeah, I think from time to time I'm definitely getting something, but you know, I feel like I definitely have a purpose. Like there's things that I have to do. Like I was given a purpose, and
Are you
this is only the beginning of my journey. And not only do I have to work on things about my language and understanding, and I have to get myself figured out in turn with trying to figure out this NDE
right?
and what it means.
How long ago was your NDE again?
It was January 22nd, 2022.
Oh, okay. So we're almost coming up on your 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. I had such a deep depression after that time when I was having nightmares for 5 months. And then I went into that depression. But this whole time, I was always still thinking every single second of every single day about my NDE. And the next 4 months, I literally just laid in bed and didn't want to move.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people, sometimes have a certain amount of trouble processing it,
yeah.
which seems to be normal. Jennifer, I have to run. I've got to go to the next guest, but
Okay.
thanks for coming back and sharing with us. And
Sure, no
hopefully we can
problem.
figure out how to get to share screen. Someone had posted that something about you have to let your camera access your files or something.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we can figure that out, and maybe next week we'll have it, or either that, or you can maybe do it from a computer.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Jennifer, you take care. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice to see you.
Nice seeing you.
Bye.
Oh, thank you. Whoever said that, thank you for the compliment. Supernatural experience. Thank you. No glasses tonight. I'm always evolving, guys. I'm constantly evolving my look. You should probably know this because I keep changing my haircut all the time, and now I took it to the next level and I went to contact lenses. And honestly, I never wore glasses until I was about probably the last 5 or 6, 7 years ago, when you get older and you can't see anymore. You become farsighted. And so I broke down and went to the optometrist, and here we are. And I'm getting used to it, so it's pretty cool. And we're waiting on Heather M. So on that note, also in the description is a link to the JeffMara podcast Facebook page. If you want to like that is there. There is also a link to my personal Facebook page. You're welcome to friend me, and you may, once you go there, you'll see my name is Jeffrey Reynolds, and Mara is my dear wife, and Mara is not my last name. So that's my wife. She's the important, if not very important, part of this podcast that's unseen. That she is the editor, and she's here with me, right next to me. So you can't see her, but she's right here, and she's also managing the chat. So, anyways, you're welcome to join me. I'm accepting friends till I get 5,000 friends. I think that's the limit. And I just got something from Heather that says I'm here. So Heather, if you're there, oh, I hear her.
Hello.
All right, there you are.
Hi.
Hi, Heather.
Hi. Hi, Jeff.
All right, nice to meet you. Where are you zooming from?
I'm in Ojai, California.
Which one? What was that again?
Ojai, California.
Ojai, where is that at?
It's about 2 hours north of Ventura, 2 hours north of LA.
Oh,
kind
cool.
of near Ventura. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. This was so fun. I just noticed that you were having a YouTube live, and last night I was watching a couple of your videos
Mhm.
on interviews with some near-death experiencers,
Thank you.
and I was thinking, um, gosh, I really want to talk to him about my experience.
What kind
And
of experience did you have?
it's just really cool that today I have this opportunity, and here I am talking to you about my experience. So 15 years ago, so when I was little, you may have heard like star seeds explain this sort of thing, feeling like they don't fit in,
Mhm.
that they don't belong here, that this world isn't the way it's supposed to be, that everyone isn't acting the way they're supposed to be. I was an only child, and I was always looking up toward the sky, like waiting for my family to come and take me away back home because I wasn't supposed to be here. So I grew up in kind of a traumatic environment, and when I would go to sleep, I would put my arms down by my side a certain way, and I would raise up and leave my body and astral project and go and I didn't know where I was going. But
Was this often?
this was between the ages of 7 and 10, and then after that it stopped. I feel like what happened was the experiences started piling up so much and became so dense that I wasn't able to balance correctly the spiritual like paranormal experiences that were happening, because I didn't know how to cultivate them to help me balance. So I became super dense. Anyway, I had to like as in super dense as in like the the 3D experience. So anyway, when I was 27, I had an accident. So I'm laying down in bed because I'm paralyzed, and I've been paralyzed for the past 15 years. And I fell from about 30 feet from a window ledge
Oh,
onto the driveway below, onto my back, onto the concrete. And I have a spinal cord injury. And when I was in the, oh gosh,
you're still here.
am I here? Okay,
Mhm.
somebody just called me. When I was in the hospital, I was on a breathing machine and I was in and out of a coma. And I had an experience where I was in a theater. And it's interesting because last night I was watching the most popular upload that you have, the guy that was having the tour of heaven,
Mhm.
and he was describing the theaters. And I thought, that's just so perfect. That's exactly what I want to talk to him about. I was in this theater and I was in the back row, and there were two people in the front, two beings in the front. I didn't know what was going on. And I see on the screen a girl holding on with her hands to a branch of a tree. And I'm watching like in amazement. And then the girl lets go of the branch of the tree, and she drops down to the ground, but she does so like in a superhero kind of pose. Like she drops down and then she's like a superhero pose. And I said audibly, wow. And the beings saw me and they noticed that I was in there. And they were two like angelic entities, but they seemed kind of like super intense. I thought they were dark. Why did it say you're about to raise your hand? They chased me out of the theater like I was not supposed to be there. On all of the sudden, I'm like flying away from my life because I think that they're going to harm me. But what I'm coming to realize now is that they needed to match my intensity that I have for my experience to get me out of the theater because I was not supposed to be there. I wasn't supposed to be there yet. And so I finally made it to this tree. There were all these floating rocks in the sky with like different buildings and trees on the floating rocks. And I was going through space. And I made it to this rock with a tree. And I grabbed onto the branch and I waited for them to leave. And then I let go. And it was me that I was watching on the screen from the beginning.
So was it like you were watching your life review?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I was in the theater and I saw this happen. I never had that happen in life. So I don't know. And then 2 days later, I was out of a coma. I was able to breathe again. I had the spinal surgeries. I'm paralyzed from my belly button down. That's why I'm laying. I think I said that already, laying in
Mhm.
bed. A woman came in and did energy work. And when she put her hands over my heart, like Reiki, I saw my accident, the accident replay, and I saw these big hands lower me down to the ground. Like it wasn't a crash. It was like I was placed there
Hmm.
kind of experience.
Interesting. When you
Yeah.
were there in the theater, did it look Greek or Romanesque like?
It was with like red velvet, and it had like an amphitheater kind of a look, and it had lots of rows of seats, and it had like the curtains on the side.
Hmm. You know, I don't remember, even though it's my most popular one, I usually don't go back and watch my videos.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched it since basically, we did it live and editing it. So I don't remember. I remember it was kind of like a tour of heaven. And I think he said in the video that a lot of the areas or places he went to had that Roman Greek feel to it. And a lot
Yeah.
of people describe at least the Akashic Records building like that with columns and stuff. And I was just wondering if you saw any of that kind of stuff there.
Right. And yeah, exactly. And a couple of years ago, I had an Akashic record journey, and I went to, and it was green velvet with large pillars. I have another experience that I'd really like to share, but
Mhm.
I know maybe other people.
Well, you can come back next week. Let me ask you this, if you don't mind. Do you ever have any astral body travels since your accident? Have you had any, or any out of body experience or astral traveling?
Yeah, so I can share another experience with you, or I could wait till next week to tell you about it.
Maybe we should wait till next week because we have two people waiting on me. But
Okay, great.
yeah, let's talk about it next week. I won't even get into questions.
Okay, cool.
And by the way, the audience in the chat is commenting on your beauty. They're saying you're beautiful. And I
Yay!
agree with them.
I am in so much physical pain. I can't even really sit for more than 15 minutes at a time because of the injury 15 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And I am experiencing the most challenging life that I wouldn't wish upon anyone.
Mm.
So the fact that I have this spiritual resilience that comes through me, and I can share that somehow, and I also make videos to be an uplifting presence while
Great.
I'm still here. So
Mm-hmm.
I also have a YouTube channel, and I'm so excited to come back next week and tell you about that.
Well, let's just, before you go, what is the name of your channel?
Well, it's my name, Heather Matoon.
Okay. If you like,
Yeah.
you're welcome to, write it in the chat so everybody, if people want to check it out, they can go check it out.
Okay,
And
thank
we
you
can
so
talk
much.
we can talk about it next week as well.
Thank you so much. This was such an honor. I
Oh,
love
thank
this.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's
Okay,
my honor to
bye.
have you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Mm-hmm. All right, that was Heather. Oh, she moved. All right, next up is Mr. Jack. And then after that is Wheeler. So we're starting off a pretty interesting new year and we're already busy. That's great.
Oh, goodness me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jack. I just can't see you yet.
That's very interesting. I thought I'd
You're
started
almost
the
there.
video
You
right
are.
away.
There you are.
Peace be with you. It's a
Nice
pleasure
to be
to
with
see you again.
Have you been on before, right?
On one of these, yes.
Yes, welcome back. Where are you zooming from again? I forgot.
I'm still in Oregon.
Oregon. Okay, yes. And it looks like it's cold in your house. You've got a hat, you've got a scarf.
Yes, I have a hat because I have no hair, so
gotta keep warm.
Yeah, once the winter starts to creep in, I just lose all the heat that way. So
yeah.
But actually, mine's gonna be super brief today. Last time I came on, I brought up the idea of consciousness as a wave, as a frequency, or a spectrum rather.
Right.
And really part of why I'm coming on today is as a lot of people have said, like, we enjoy the way you present interviews because partly because as you like when you talk about it, you say you're still searching yourself. And but what that leads you to do is just kind of let other people talk and sort of let their experiences speak for themselves. So I also kind of mentioned when I came on, I think that I had, quote, the least interesting near-death experience. I have been giving it a lot more thought, and I feel like that does it a gigantic disservice.
Okay.
And so I feel like, so, the context for it is I've always wanted to once I became aware of these events, I wanted to understand them better so I could help explain them to people better, because I felt like that's where my gift was, is in sort of explaining things to people. And so when I finally got my experience, I got just enough information to help me understand what other people were explaining. And so, for example, the void that people talk about is what I experienced, right? There was no visuals, but that was comfortable. There was no sense of having a physical body, but that was also comfortable. The only thing that seemed unusual was the sound I was hearing. Now, that is probably what motivated me to come on the most, because in thinking about this whole idea of everything as a frequency and so on, I realized what was very interesting about how I processed the sound. So in retrospect, I think of it as, or the way I described it was, you could hear the sound. So for example, right now we're talking and you're hearing speech. But if you were to record this conversation, play it back at like a tenth the speed of the actual thing, the voices sound different, and you can hear a lot more nuances in how vocal cords vibrate and so on. So it was sort of like that. I could hear the sound in every speed.
That's interesting.
And that was what I realized, was that in trying to understand what I was listening to, I was flipping between it at full speed and it at its slowest speed, just to try to figure out what exactly the sound was. And so at full speed, I'm like, that sounds like a goat. And so I zoom in and it's just this, and I'm like, I can tell an animal is making it, but I don't know what. And so eventually I kind of forced my attention to it, and then this reorientation happens. But did you have a question, Thought?
Well, when you mention speed, it makes me think about time, because ultimately speed is time, I guess. And if you're in a realm where time doesn't exist, as many guests say that they experience, then maybe in that realm you are actually manipulating time through sounds.
Well, so the concept of time is less, the way we experience time here is, it's difficult to describe, but it feels so intrinsic to space, right? It's so irreversible. But if you want to shift out to that perspective, you have to adjust your perspective of time to something that you have to think of time as looking down at a neighborhood from the air. So it's no longer, the past is behind you and the future is ahead of you. The past is just a point on a grid. The future is a point on a grid. And again, if you want to get a little closer to it, it's that, but imagine it as a 3-dimensional grid. So that you have your past, you have your future, but then you have your alternate timelines and so on. Yeah.
So do you think that people who are able to predict the future somehow can get into that space that you were in and somehow get glimpses, images, just tiny little pieces of that view from up above like you have, and they come back with just, just parts of what they possibly saw in the future, and then they make, meaning out of that, or at least try to?
Right. I think where it comes to precognition, there are different ways it can happen, right? And that's where we touch on this idea of a multidimensional grid. So some events you can see as a warning, right? And if it's a warning, it means by definition, it's not supposed to happen. It's just, this is how the variables in the system are set up. And if you hit play, this is how the system's going to evolve. But you can change that.
Mhm.
So that's one sort of thing. But then there's the other sort of, this is where everything is headed, regardless of, it's, well, I guess another way to put it is, there might be a grocery store or, you know, a store or someplace you like to frequent in your neighborhood that you can walk to. And there may be 3 different streets you can take to get there. So in that sense, some events are fixed in the neighborhood the way that store is, and some events are potential in the sense of there's a lot in the neighborhood, and then you can kind of warn people and go, hey, look, if we don't adjust our neighborhood laws, a cartel's going to set up a drug emporium right here. So I guess that's where the nuance is. Go ahead.
What do you think about people when they do their dream analysis and, for example, they see like an owl, and this owl for them represents they're going to get betrayed today or something like that? Do you think, you know, or if I see another image in a dream, or someone, not I, but if someone sees another image in a dream, that means that, you know, I'm gonna have this happen today. And a lot of times it turns out true for them. What do you think's going on with that?
And
Is
if
that
it's
like
in
a
the,
warning? Sorry to interrupt you, but is that
oh, no,
like,
no, oh, good. Yeah. So in the case of, you know, if it's a precognitive event that comes to pass, then it falls into one of those 2 categories I kind of talked about, right? Like it could be a, hey, here's a fixed thing that we kind of want to let you know. Sometimes it could be, here's a warning of a thing that could become fixed if you don't change it.
Mhm.
But in terms of, and I got really excited because what really pushed me down this path was dreams. I tried studying dreams. I wrote a paper about them. And the biggest thing I learned in trying to understand them is that it's the emotional content that matters. So, which is why it doesn't matter what the person sees. What matters more is how they feel about it. And that touches on, for example, what you were talking about just before I joined with the previous guest, the idea of people seeing Roman style architecture and so on, right? So everything you see in the spirit world is a visual symbol. Everything. Like there's nothing you see that is just purely designed to be like everything has meaning at this point. So when you see a structure like that, it's meant to convey a certain sense. So now to us in the modern age, you look at something like that, it conveys the idea of something that's ancient, something that has authority, something that has knowledge contained within it. And that's why it would take that form. People have described university looking bagel dings, which still kind of borrow from the same aesthetic. So yeah, by and large, I think where it comes to your dreams, what you see, focus less on, like when I talk to people about what their dreams, and I love doing that, the first thing I ask them when they describe, like if I had a dream and I was cold, I'll stop you right there. How do you know you were cold? Because you can't feel, you know, that way. And then you usually hear something like, oh, well, I could see snow outside, or I was wearing a very heavy sweater, or there were blankets all around me in the room. So yeah, always dig into the emotional content, because that's where, you know, that's how we communicate outside the body.
That's interesting. So are you somebody who, are you offering people dream analysis?
Oh, goodness, no. I am happy to talk to people about dreams, very happy to, but I am not by any means a professional.
Oh.
I'm just someone who
You like to dabble.
I like to dabble. It's difficult for me to say this because I guess I've never actually said it, but I do have spiritual gifts. And so this is an attempt to share them. So anyone who wishes to talk, you can certainly reach out to me.
Are you in the Discord, in our Discord group?
I have been meaning to join because I want to help with the work that's being done with cataloging your videos, but in a very specific way.
I was just going to say, I appreciate that. And I was just going to say, you know, that might, I was looking today and there's like over 500 people now in the group, which is cool. It's grown that big.
Awesome.
And that might be a good place if people want to reach out to you. If not, I mean, should they reach you on Facebook, or you have a website, or what?
I am definitely not on Facebook, but I will join the Discord and introduce myself
All right,
as Mr.
perfect.
Jackdaw. So,
You have an amazing voice, by the way. Have you ever considered
too
being
kind.
a voice actor? I mean, you're a handsome guy too. You could be an actor as well.
You're far too kind. I'm a terrible actor, but I would like to try to make more audio narrative things. So I'm hoping to do that this year.
Cool. Well, Mr. Jack, thanks for coming back. Don't be a stranger. I've got to run to the next person, but thanks again, and Happy New Year to you.
Very much a pleasure. Happy New Year.
Cheers.
See you.
All right, that was Mr. Jack. Thank you for that. And I'm getting my sound effects. I'm getting better at that, as if you guys heard. Let's bring Wheeler in and see what's going on with that. Or not with that, with who. I can't say her or him. I don't know who that is yet. But we're about to find out. And while we're waiting...
Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
I tried to call you. Let's see, hang on a second.
I asked you to see. Let's see.
Yeah.
There you are. Oh, Patricia. Hey, Patricia.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Now, Patricia was a guest. How long ago was that?
Oh my. 2 years ago?
2 years ago. It's awesome to have you come back. It's like,
Yeah.
it's seeing an old friend again. I wish my guests come back more often. So, do you remember what podcast number you were? Because I don't.
I think it was like 187 or something like that.
187. You had an NDE, right?
Yes, I did.
I forgot what your NDE was. Can you remind me?
It was when I crashed on a motorcycle and I saw my guardian angel in the operating room.
Okay.
And I also, is anybody listening to me besides you?
About 280 people.
Oh, gee.
We're live. You didn't realize we're live?
I was just wondering if I should like really tell the story or just give you just an overview.
Just give me an overview, because I give everybody about 15 minutes ish is what I do. This is a
Okay.
live broadcast, and I only do it on Saturday nights, and I let the audience join and let them share their experiences too, because everybody has a valid experience, and if not a very impactful and great experience, but it isn't enough to do like a whole hour on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this is the perfect venue for that. And unfortunately, people reach out to me and they want to be a full hour, and I just don't feel like it's the fit for a full hour. And I say, well, why don't you come on Saturday nights?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we've already done a full hour of yours, and I was just trying to
Yeah.
remember your NDE. But maybe a lot of if it was 2 years ago, my channel was a lot smaller back then, so a lot of people may have not, most likely have not seen your NDE. So if you can give us a synopsis,
Okay.
that would be
All
great.
right. And that's not even actually why I wanted
And
to
you're
come on
not,
your
yeah.
show.
So we'll do that quickly, and we can talk about
Okay.
what brought
My
you back.
newest thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so my NDE was crashing a motorcycle, being in an ambulance, and holding the hand of somebody that wasn't visibly there, but I could feel him.
hmm
And then seeing my guardian angel in the operating room watching the operation, and then being put into the my room in the hospital, and seeing like this star in the room with me, a little tiny star that I knew was Jesus.
hmm
And so I looked at the star and said thank you. And my leg, which had been smashed in the accident, which the doctor said afterwards that I was bleeding to death. That's how I know it was an NDE. Um, that my leg buzzed and all the numbness went away and all was good.
Yeah, I think I remember that. It's funny
Yeah.
that I wouldn't think I would, but as you were telling me the story, it was coming back to me.
Yeah.
Now, are you still in contact with your guardian angel?
No, I don't really have
Do-
any contact at all with
Do
him.
you remember the angel's name or what he looked like?
Yeah, I remember what he looked like. He didn't actually look at me, but he was looking at the my leg, and he was clear, but very visible. And he either had no hair, light wispy hair, blondish, whitish, I don't know what, but his hair was like not an issue.
Mhm.
His face was like almost like a girl face that couldn't grow a mustache or a beard.
Mm.
And he was hovering above the doctors and nurses that were around me. I would say he was about a foot or a foot and a half off of the ground, because even though I couldn't see the ground, his body structure showed me that he couldn't possibly have had these massive long legs behind him to fit down to the ground, you know. So he was hovering over the whole thing. But I wish he would have looked at me or imparted some message to me, but he didn't. He was just there to make sure I was okay.
Do you feel like he healed you, or Jesus healed you, or
Jesus
both?
healed me, but the guardian angel was there to watch the whole operation, make sure I was okay. Which is
Awesome.
funny, because you would think that Jesus would have been there to watch the operation, but I don't know why, you know,
Or
it's
maybe
not
he
up to
was busy
me.
that day.
He was busy, yes.
So
All right, so
what brings
should
you
I
back?
tell you? Yeah, I would like to tell you what happened to my dog.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned something about that on Facebook or
Yes.
something. Yeah, what happened?
Okay, so I'm going to show you my dog so that you don't feel bad about this whole story.
Mhm.
This is my
Oh,
little
she's
dog, Sammy.
adorable. Wow.
She's six
She looks
pounds.
like a
She's
little
just a
teddy
little
bear.
thing.
What
Yeah,
kind of
she's my
dog is
little
that?
friend. Anyway, this one day I was doing exercises for my hip because I had had hip surgery. And one of the exercises is standing on one foot as long as you can. So I was standing on one foot looking at the timer, and behind me, I heard something fall. And I thought, shoot, did the dog fall? But I don't want to turn and look, because as soon as I do, I'll put my other foot down, you know. And so I said to my husband, hey, Bob, did the dog just trip or fall or something? And he said, look. And I turned around and looked, and there was Sammy laying sideways on the ground. We have a slate, not slate, tile floor. And I don't know if Sammy died laying on the couch and fell off the side of the couch already dead, or she hit the floor wrong, and I mean tripped and hit the floor wrong and died at that point. But by the time I got to her, which was like right away, her eyes had this big thick gloss over them, like you could see nobody home, you know. And her tongue was sticking out, and it was black and dark purple, and she wasn't breathing. So I put her nose and mouth inside my mouth and just started breathing into her and rubbing her little chest and belly. And I did that for a little bit, and I thought I was doing something, but then all of a sudden one of my breaths into her just was like blowing on a wall. It just went poof, you know. And it was over. The dog was dead.
Mm.
And she just meant so much to me that I just started crying. I was just crying, and like almost scream crying. And I was saying, Jesus, don't keep her, give her back. Please don't keep her. And I was saying, Sammy, come back. Don't stay there, you know? And in my mind's eye, it was like I could see Jesus holding my dog. And it's like, give her back, you know, don't keep her. And all of a sudden, this little tiny twitch happened on the side of her eye. And then her tongue started to go back and forth a little bit, and it turned pink. And the gloss in her eyes just lifted. And her little brown eyes just looked right up at me like, what the heck just
Mm.
happened? And I said, you're back. And I handed her to Bob, and he put her on the couch. And I got up onto the couch, and then Bob walked away to cry. And I knew he just wanted to be away to cry, because he just watched this dog come back from the dead through prayer. And that was the Sunday before Easter, just this last Sunday, Easter. And it was like, we just watched the resurrection.
Wow. That's
I
amazing.
know. I
That's
know.
an amazing story.
Yeah.
Can I see what kind of dog is it?
She's a Pomeranian poodle.
She's a
Called a
Can I see her
Pomeranian.
again? She's so adorable.
Yeah,
Look at
she's
that.
just a little
She's like a
sweetheart.
little teddy bear.
She is. Yeah,
She's
she's
super
very
cute.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
Yeah. And that haircut's so adorable on her. That's an awesome story. Thank you for coming and sharing with us. That's
Yeah,
such a great story.
thanks.
You got
So,
anything else going on that, it's been 2 years. What else is new with you?
oh my goodness. I do remember something. Let me think. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is pretty weird, but okay. So, like, I was trying to pack a box to send to my niece for Christmas, and it was this metal uh, donkey thing. And no matter which way I put that darn donkey in the box, it was not going to fit. The ears stuck up wrong, and I couldn't get the box shut.
Hmm.
So what the heck? I said, Jesus, you know how to get this donkey in this box. Help me to get the donkey in the box. And I barely touched it, and it turned really odd and slipped down, fit right in that box. I just said thanks because I couldn't get it in, and it was just really odd.
What it appears is that you have an amazing relationship with Jesus.
Yeah, I
Did
don't
you
just wait for important things. you
do
know.
did you have this relationship with Jesus before your NDE?
I've thought about that. When I was a little girl, I'm going to guess about 5, but possibly 4. I remember being in my playroom and had a record player. And there was some song, just a regular song that, teenagers were singing to their girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. But I remember singing that song over and over again and singing it to God.
Hmm.
It just was like something that just touched my heart. And I think that's where it started.
Yeah, maybe you've had a connection with God either since a child or even pre-birth.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Do you think it's possible that you even had some kind of NDE when you were a child that you don't remember, or you had an out-of-body experience or something?
Well, I do know that I swallowed, I don't know if it was a penny or a nickel when I was real small. And I don't remember swallowing it, but my dad picked me up and shook me upside down and whacked me. Somebody whacked me on the back while my dad was shaking me. Who knows what really happened during that time? I was pretty little. I
Hmm.
just remember I wasn't panicked at all. I was
Wow.
just hanging upside down, getting whacked on the back. The coin came up.
Well, good thing that it did.
Yeah. Okay, so like there's another thing I want to tell you.
Hmm.
Um, I was in our RV and I had the Bible and it was on the little table by the window. And my husband was sleeping on the bed and I was just taking time to read the Bible. And I was in the last book of Revelation, which is like totally impossible for me to understand, but I'm reading along. I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen at the end of the world.
Hmm.
And it's like it's not making any sense. So I got up to get a little snack or something, and I said, God, I'm sure that there are other places in the Bible that have things about the end of the world that make much more sense. Could you like lead me there? Just then, this wind came through that window and the pages of the Bible were turning, but they weren't turning really like wind. They were turning more like somebody who knew where they were going in the Bible. And so like a big chunk would turn, a big chunk would turn, a big chunk would turn, and then a few pages, and then right there. And I went and sat down, there it was.
What
It's
did it
like,
say?
wow. I don't even remember what it said. I'm not even sure what book I was in, but it was far away from the book of Revelation. I think it was possibly in a gospel, but I don't remember now. I
Wow.
just remember going, wow, okay. And watching those pages turn, you could see it wasn't just the wind, it was somebody who knew where they were going.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's cool. Well, Patricia, thanks for coming back and
Yeah.
sharing with us. I really appreciate that. And, don't wait another 2 years next time.
Well, I just happened to have you tell me that somebody was like scamming me, or they were
Okay.
doing some Facebook thing, and then you and I talked and he told me about it. I didn't even know about it.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Maybe if it was 2 years ago, I probably wasn't even doing the live stream back then, because I've been doing it a
Right.
little over a year. So I bet you that's what it was.
Okay. All right.
So see, that was a great synchronicity, even though hopefully no damage happened from somebody, impersonating you. At least it led us back together. It
Yeah.
brought you back.
Yeah. As far as I know, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, that's crazy that happens, but it's cool
Yep.
that you're here.
Thanks.
All right, Patricia, I've got to run, but thank you so much. Have
Okay.
a
How
great.
does this go? I mean, can I see other people?
Yeah, you just go to YouTube, right?
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna,
see.
I'm gonna, I don't like using this word, but I'm gonna like remove you from the room. But if you go to my YouTube channel right now, it's live, and you can just go watch, and you can see the comments on the side. You can comment if you have a YouTube channel, and
Oh, okay.
there's about a 30-second time delay. So if you hurry up, as soon as if you can get there, you may catch the last few seconds of us talking.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you later.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was a great story with such an adorable dog. And we got Leslie Kings. Leslie is back. Let's see what's going on with Leslie. And we'll ask him to stop.
Coming. Hello.
Hi, Leslie.
Oh,
There you are. Welcome. Welcome back.
yes. Hi. Modern haircut, right?
I like
No,
I like
just-
your hat. It's a nice hat.
Now what you maybe don't like. Da-dum.
Hey.
No more hair.
It looks good.
Thanks. But this is a sign for me for you. Put this tie.
Yeah.
Last time I shared, he promised for if I playing, he wear this time, but last time was not. One before, yes. So now I said, if he don't wear, I will complaining. Where is the tie?
No, I forgot last week.
Oh,
But while you're playing, maybe I'll play along with you.
Oh, it's great. Jeff, yesterday I just felt like an 8 days baby when they in a Catholic church bring under the water, Well, yesterday was my first.
All right, so Leslie, but if you guys don't know, Leslie has his own YouTube channel, and on Friday nights he live streams his playing, his music, right, Leslie?
Basically, this is like a workstation. Somebody drawing, some art, somebody sharing. We have connection yesterday with Beijing, China.
Oh, nice.
Zoom.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. You can zooming from China, but you cannot use YouTube. And the person come through Zoom to the whole world. So I said, wow.
That's great.
There's some connection. One of your audience also even wrote a little message. I was so carrying her name. Though I didn't saw her name, and I'm very appreciative. And we got 6 people, live 6.
Hey, that's what you got to start somewhere.
Yes.
And you just
and
have
I'm
to,
very happy.
You just have to keep going. You just keep going and keep doing it. Until the audience comes.
No, I feel like a disc jockey, like you said you was disc jockey for before my toy, only the piano, now the computer, now the speaker, now you this. Wow. So yeah, if I'm 30 years old, it's okay, but I'm 65, young, a little bit interesting but today I share a secret.
All right.
Once again, Jeff, you was the key. If you don't remember, the first time when I play music, you mentioned about this painting.
Mm-hmm. I
You
don't.
asked me, this painting? You said, are you a painter? You said. And I cannot said no and yes. Finally, I said no, exact, but I'm a painter,
Wow.
but music painter.
Yeah.
So if somebody visit my YouTube channel, they can find many years ago. This is the title, music painting.
Oh, that's great. So are you saying that are you changing the name of your YouTube channel from Leslie King's to YouTube painting? Or music painting?
No, this is just one part of the
Mm.
service.
Mm.
But basically, many things like the computer loops where you do your music and making many loops together and wonderful music can create without you learn piano 6-8 years. Same as the painting, coloring, pattern, rhythm, some music notes, little pattern, and this is be live. When you're channeling, you put this part and after this part. Today I try demonstrate maybe a little bit such music, but it's basically all my music painting, but a little bit knowing also for I am painting when I play.
It's a musical landscape you're painting.
Basically, yes. You start once, more, and more until after a few minutes, finish the creation. The professional painter, you know how they do the paintings, is that oh, oh, they have inside them what they want. So I also, what I channeling, what I receiving, what I downloading, this is I need to play until it can be short or longer, and it's finished. And that's it. I cannot change.
Are
It's
you
finished.
Are you going to play for us today?
Of course, I'm not preaching for you.
All right. Now, for those of you that are you going to be channeling your plan? Are you going to be channeling music today?
Definitely. This
So
is
for
exact same.
So for those of you who are new here, Leslie comes, or he has come here, and he channels the music. So he's just channeling it and playing it live.
Yes. And I just sent for you the other camera.
Oh,
if you
okay.
want.
Let's see. And then he gives us the actual other camera so we can actually see his keyboard. And let me mute that. And then has to start video.
Yes.
That way we can see that you're really playing and you're not faking it.
Exactly. Rejoice always in God. This is a wonderful thing. So I don't know what I will play, but my heart not only just playing and give the demonstration, but also understanding and teaching other people. For you don't learn piano in from 8 years, 10 years, the masters, even after a few weeks, you can create music, channeling. So I have a lot of wonderful secret. This is what I try do in the future in my channel, also in a YouTube channel for explaining, showing the workstation. But I'm playing.
I can't hear it.
Oh, no any sound? Oh, wait.
There we go. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a little things was missed. Original sound for musician was off. So no sound. It's amazing for you heard about my sharing, but now we online. Okay, let's one more.
All right, bravo, bravo, bravo. That was amazing. That was an amazing
Thank you, sir.
piece.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Leslie, have you ever gone back and listened to these, after, we've, like the next day and listened to what you've played and thought, wow, where did that music come from? That was pretty amazing.
Okay. So many years, what I recorded, I don't listen, just always put it new and new. But the last few years, as you know, 7 years, I don't play music. Lord want to change my life, and I entered a different type of music, what you more, not too far away, but I am different. It's not a music, it's continue. My wife said she's the best critic. Oh, that's just same sound. And I said, honey, same piano and same sound, but I have something in me that change. But for answer for your question, many time I use some of my, they call playlists. What when I listen, the whole room atmosphere is changes. Sometimes I receive myself healing, so I really know it's channeling. It's not me. It's not for my really gifted and people have many ideas about it. No, it's him. Only I learning for how to surrender, how to be really just whenever. And yes, I have many experience when I listen, go somewhere, and maybe writing words or maybe asking forgiveness for something happened a long time, misunderstand, and it's a lot of action happening in my life, what I also receive, and many others who have able to listen this type of music. But the most important, everybody can do this. And this is what I like to give. For you get great computer music, very also good. Many loops, how we call, and from here, there, it's really play, even musician playing, and you can put together beautiful music. Here, you are the key. You are the temple of God. You're the temple of the Holy Spirit. As you know, I work with the Holy Spirit. And channeling the all music, the all frequency. And that's just a little secret. Some of you who is professional can know. I play in 5 to 8 hertz. And the homework for your net, your friends, the chat room, what is 528 hertz? Why interesting hertz if you playing in 528? What honestly, I never recognize how important in creation, in God's kingdom. So I have many wonderful things, but when you have know the truth set you free. It's nice to playing, and I don't know, but God wants for we draw from heaven every knowledge, everything, so we can knowing what He wants there will be transferred here, and therefore, and last, I don't want it too much. I have a spiritual name. Yeah. It's come from heaven, not I or not Papa, not teacher, give or friends. M-O-R-I. My name is Mori. And when I received this name Mori, not a Japanese name for every second people Mori. When I received this name Mori, I have no clue what is this. I was careful for in the Bible, Moria. Wow, this is the offering place. Or this is the place in Israel, where a template. So why connected to my name, to Mori? Oh, but Mori means, in Hebrew, if somebody really go there, teacher. And not just teacher, but also one-to-one teacher. So I have many one-to-one teacher. Hopefully net also I can teaching for every people different. Every people have different gifts and calling, for must accomplish. and we can serve each other. And individual, amazing how many my students learned and right now play in different places, even church, even other places. So I am teacher.
Leslie, thank you for sharing with us and playing the music. Once again, if you want to see Leslie's YouTube channel, it is Leslie Kings. And
every Friday
it's on
evening,
Friday nights. What time is your live stream?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. And what is that? 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock in your time. So
My time, I'm in Central Time. So if you're
Yes.
Central Time, it's 8 o'clock on Friday nights. Leslie, I wish you massive success with your channel. I've got to run, and I'll see you next time.
God bless you.
God bless you. Take care. And that is Leslie. All right, there's 262 of you in the room here. So if you were here earlier or if you came later and you're wanting to know how to join the podcast, the way you get in if you want to be with me live is that you just go to zoom.com. Was it Zoom? Yeah, zoom.com, and you click join a meeting. And then it'll ask you for the room ID, which is in the description below. I give you the room ID and I give you the password. So that's all you need are those two things to get in. And then you can be here with me live. I wanted to say a big thank you to Peg Connolly for sending us this very nice Christmas card and gift. We really appreciate you, Peg, and thank you so much for sending this to us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not sure if you're here or not, but if you are here, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're watching this later, thank you. So thanks again, Peg. What else is in the description below? So I told you earlier that my personal Facebook page, the JeffMara Podcast Facebook page, our NDE Clips channel. And what I do on the NDE Clips channel is I basically cut out just the NDE. So just like that 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how long the NDE is there, and then just put that there. And that's especially for people who don't have a lot of time to invest. You know, they don't want to invest a whole hour. They just want to hear the NDE and that's that. So that's perfect for you. Also, see, I had this on this. I kind of got to go back here so I can see what else is there in one of our live descriptions below. There is the JeffMara music. Well, we'll talk about that later. Next, we've got Marie, or while she's entering, we'll talk about it. So, actually, I think she's here. Also, Marie.
Hi.
Hi, can you do me one favor? And that is, can you mute the YouTube channel?
Okay. Yes.
There
yes.
you are. Hello. There is
Hi.
the JeffMara music. Well, we'll talk about that.
Hello.
Got you.
Okay.
Where are you zooming from?
I'm in Ottawa, Canada.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
So what do you have to share with us today?
Oh, I would like to share an NDE I had when I was very young,
Oh,
and
cool.
lately I've been watching your show,
Mhm.
and by watching your show, I realized that what happened to me was an NDE.
You know, that's so
And
amazing. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's amazing because the NDE that I posted yesterday was taken from a previous Saturday night like tonight, and I think she also, just like you, realized from watching the podcast that what she had was an NDE. So it's cool to see another person kind of understand that after watching.
yes, and I have to tell you that you are absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
The question you ask to the people are so eye-opening, and they're so right on, and you just have a great aura, and it's really wonderful. Your show is fantastic, and I
Thank you.
think you work very, very hard because you have a lot of people on,
Yeah.
and it's nice.
Thank you. Well, tell us about your story.
Okay, so so this is about 25 years ago or more, 27 years ago. And I was a young woman back then, and I was very, very sad, very depressed, and I suffered from anorexia back then. And I eventually, I was so hard on myself that eventually I was too tired, and I was trying to lead my normal life. But, you know, of course, I was depleting myself more and more. And one afternoon, I just crashed on the sofa because I just couldn't go on anymore, and I felt I couldn't move. And very soon, I was paralyzed in my body. And so for many years, I thought it was just a case of paralyzed sleep. But this is what happened: is my deceased grandmother was next to me, and now most people, when they hear about grandmothers, they think about somebody who's sweet and nice. And unfortunately, in my case, I didn't know much of my grandmother, and she was a very distant person, and she was a noble woman, a French noble woman, and she was very, very cold and very mean, actually, to my mom. And I saw my mom cry very often because of her, so I didn't like her at all. And so I was very surprised that she was next to my bed, and she was quite, you know, her usual way, very strict. And she told me, "Get up." And I said, "I'm sorry, I can't. I can't move." And she said, "Of course you can move. I make you move. Get up." And I got up, and I realized I was getting up, but I was getting up outside of my body. And it was like my soul getting up. And then we started to walk. And she told me, and so this, I think this is very interesting because it reaches what others have told you. She told me, "We're gonna walk together. We're gonna cross. We're gonna be in a room. We're gonna cross sounds, and the sounds, don't be afraid of them. They're emotions. They're your emotions. There are some emotions. They're not." She didn't say your emotion, but she said they are emotions. And as we cross the sounds, you may feel different emotions. But, so it was a world of sounds, really. And it had a vibration. The sound had a vibration. So indeed, we crossed many sounds, and some sounds were very strange. And for each sound, I had a different emotion. So then after that, my grandmother walked with me, and she said, "Do you want to go on?" And I told her that I really didn't know. And then I realized that she was asking me if I wanted to go on with my life. And then I said, "Well, I'm ready to fight, but I was really sad back then." And so she said, "Please, you don't give up. What you see right now is not exactly what it is. Your future can be very beautiful." And then she showed me, and she said, "Now there's going to be a nice sound." And she showed me something that appeared a little bit like a movie theater, like a screen right out of the blue, like as if it was a screen in the sky or something. And the first sound I heard was a tingle of a bell, and it was the most beautiful bell, like a bell sound, and it was just the most beautiful, and I just wanted to look at it. And so I look at it, and as I look at it, and it takes more and more form, it's not the sound of a bell. It's actually a little child laughing. It's the laugh of a little child, and the child is on the beach, and he's beachcombing and going back and forth, on the beach and laughing. And this made me so happy. I felt so much happiness, so much love in my heart. And immediately I said, "Oh, I want to go back. I want to fight. I want to go and live this life. I promise I'm going to eat from now on." And so my grandmother said, "Are you sure? Because it's a big wall you have in front of you. You have to break that wall." And now I was in a room, and indeed there was a wall. And I said, "Well, if there's a wall, it means I can break it. So there's a wall, and so I can do something." And I woke up, and she said to me, "Remember, go to the sea." Somehow, I don't know why she said that. And so I woke up, and immediately I went to the kitchen and I grabbed the first thing in the fridge. But it was a turning point in an anorexia that had lasted for about 4 years at that point. And I was under 80 pounds, and
Oh,
I'm 5'3". So I was very, very, very sick. And back then, everything I was doing was hurt very much. And it was not, I just want to put it out there that it was not easy to get out of anorexia. It was not like a click, oh, I go and I eat. That day I went and I ate the first thing in the fridge because of the dream. But of course, I experienced nausea right away after, because your body has to it's a long road, is what I'm saying. But I was also learning Japanese somehow. And so I went to Japan. When I went to Japan, I met somebody in Japan. And when I came back to Canada, I was pregnant. But instead of
great.
going back to Montreal, where I went back to the West Coast, where I had family. And eventually I was living in Victoria, BC, which is on the beach, with my child, with my little boy. And one day I was at the beach, and it was the exact same scene that my grandmother had shown me.
Oh, it's amazing.
Absolutely. And now I have an amazing son, and he's a grown man and everything. But and I recovered. It took many years, but I did recover completely and everything. And I wanted to share this because it's a beautiful story.
It is.
Hopefully.
It is. Thank you for sharing that. So did you hear your son laughing, and that was the same laughing you heard when you were with your grandmother?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
And also, I want to add something a bit strange that happened. At the time when I was in Montreal, anorexic on the couch, I had a roommate, a girl who lived it was a pretty big apartment, and she lived in the front room and I lived in the back room. And a few days later, she said, "Me and my boyfriend, we were in bed the other day, and we heard little bells coming and going from the room. It was very strange. It was the middle of the night. It was as if somebody was walking in the room with little bells." And I thought, wow, this is strange.
Well, maybe it was your son before he incarnated and he was kind of hanging out with you.
Yeah, maybe, and I thought for a while that maybe he thought he was attracted, maybe because in the room there was somebody, and he thought, oh, maybe oh, no, not wrong person. I don't know. But
If you don't mind me asking, I would think that there was some reason why you became anorexic in the first place. I guess, maybe you felt like you weren't attractive enough or something. Whatever that was, that reasoning that you had behind it, how did you work through that after your NDE, if you don't mind sharing? And if you don't want to share, that's okay, because it may be too personal.
No, thank you. It's a great question. It's really a great question. And actually you're giving me an opportunity to share something very important, because very often I think, oh, how can I share this and give some hope to other people, because it's very hopeless when you're in the middle of it, and it's very difficult, because because the road to recovery looks like a road to worse. It seems to the person, it seems that you're getting worse when you're actually getting better. And it's very difficult to assess yourself, and it's scary. And so I had to have a kind of a faith not a faith in, but I mean, not a faith necessarily in God. That's not what I mean, but a faith that I was going to be better. And that dream, or that NDE, gave me that faith, because I had that dream that, I saw this little boy, that there was a life afterwards, that my life didn't end there. And the reason why now I think it's an NDE is that I know that after, because you progress, and then you regress, and you progress, and you regress, and in a later regression I had to go to hospital, and I had a little cardiac problem.
Mhm.
And so I'm just wondering right now, wow, what happened on that couch, because I remember that when I fell on it, I was literally unable. It was really like a massive something was happening to my body, and I needed to sit down.
Were
And
you also bulimic?
afterwards, not at that time,
Mm-hmm.
I was strictly anorexic, but
Mhm.
when I recovered, I went through different phases of different types of disordered eating, because I was desperately just trying to find my way. And also back then, it was very difficult to obtain any mental support or therapy. And afterwards in my life, I was very lucky that I was able to access some therapy and continue with therapy. But back then, I needed therapy most. And
Well, you may have lost so much weight that, just like you said, I mean, it could have been affecting your heart. I mean, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. That's not my specialty. But where is that line where you're so underweight that it becomes, life threatening? Where,
exactly. And
what is that weight? I don't know.
exactly, and it's very difficult to assess when you're in the middle of it yourself, when you're
Hmm.
sitting in it yourself. Um, for example, one image that I was, back then, I was trying to do all the things that somebody does normally when they have a full normal weight, except I was very underweight. So when I started to eat again and I did the same things over, I was so astonished at how easy it was.
Hmm.
For example, just learning a new language, how easy it was afterwards when I was doing the Japanese. It was, but it's not because Japanese is necessarily difficult. It's because any effort. So the image is like um, a car that would run on rims without the tires. So when I was very, very thin, it was like I was on the rims on the concrete. uh, and so when I'm in a normal weight, it's just like with tires. It's so much better. It's smoother and it's better. And it was very scary, but it's also like a ball, snowball. It has a snowball effect. So it's very scary, and it's the scariest in the beginning. And then, every time you make a mark and go and get better and better, it gets better and it's easier and easier. So it looks at first, when you start, when you think, okay, I'm gonna try to get better, the first few steps are difficult, but it's not that difficult all the time.
What message of encouragement do you have for people who are suffering with anorexia?
There's so many messages of encouragement, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. In this life, there is it's possible to to get to get better. Today, don't think about my weight, really. you know uh I really live without that burden and free from it. And I'm not overweight. I'm not I think I'm just my own weight, but what I mean is that because back then I was so obsessed with that, and it was ruling my life, and it was making me suffer a lot. And I just want to say that this can go away. It's possible completely.
That's great. My Three Loves JSA says you're adorable. So I'm just passing that
That's
along.
very nice. That's very nice.
They're saying, I think they're writing in the chat that you look like the actress Renee Zellweger.
Oh
and
my
you are
God.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very nice. Well, I look so much better now that I looked, unfortunately, when I was younger. And I experienced something very strange because this happened in the beginning of my 20s. And when I was in my 30s, I looked younger than in my 20s.
Sure. Yeah, I could see
But,
that.
it's so difficult to assess when you're suffering so much. And it's difficult to see from the inside what it does. But it's completely possible to get over it.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you went to Japan, you probably had recently started eating, so it was a new beginning for you.
Yes, absolutely. When I went to Japan, it was a full year or a year and a half after this experience, and I was, on my way to recovery, because I think it takes many years, but I was well enough to go there. I just want to add also another twist is that I happen to be a writer. I write in French, and now I write police novels. And
Wow.
my son he was raised in English, and he speaks French and English perfectly, and he's 26 now, and he's in the midst of translating my one of my novels in English. So it's like, wow, it's like I never thought that this would be possible
That's
back then.
fantastic. Do you sell? Do you have published books like that are on Amazon?
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
What is
I
the
have.
name of your book so people can find them?
Well, the last one. Well, it's in French though for the moment.
Well, maybe there's some French people here. You never know.
Okay. Well, my latest one was published last year. It's called Elizabethville, and it's a police novel that takes place on the West Coast, the Canadian West Coast, and then I have another one that is to be published in March of this year that is called Red Ochre, and it deals with all the realities, Canadian realities, of the First Nation women who disappear, for example, and other considerations, the cohabitation of the French and the English in Canada, and also that's what it is.
Cool. That's awesome. My wife's and I, our favorite TV show that we're watching, and we watch it a lot when we have a chance, is the show on Netflix. It used to be on the TV, and it's called The Blacklist.
Yes.
I don't know if you know that show with James Spader, and it's like, I guess sounds like you know it, but if you don't know it, he's a criminal that goes back and works with the FBI and with a certain woman. I won't give the plot away, but and it's really fascinating show. We really like it a lot.
And take a look at that.
Yeah, it's an amazing show. If you like it, it's really, really great. And I mean, it's like super criminal, but moral super criminal, but he's an elegant guy and very educated, and he works at the FBI, and there's like 9 seasons of it. I think we're somewhere like on season number 5, but check it out. If you're into Netflix, check it out. And I think you guys would like it.
All right. Yes.
Well, Marie, thank you so much for coming and sharing, and giving us your story. We really appreciate you. I wish you massive success in your novels and your writing, and I wish you the best. And I think you coming and sharing with us hopefully will help anybody else who is suffering from anorexia, and hopefully that they'll, your story will touch them.
I hope so. I wish for anyone who's suffering, you know, all my love to them. It's really, really difficult, and you know, I wish them well.
Let me ask you this, and would you be, if someone, are you, like I always ask my guests, if someone wanted to reach out to you and that needed help, would you be willing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I can give my my
Are you on,
email.
are you that, or if you're on Facebook or
Oh,
something?
I'm on Facebook too. I'm
Okay.
on Facebook with the name Marie Framboise,
You're gonna have to spell that.
because my name is Marie Françoise, and then Marie Françoise sounds like the raspberry, which is framboise. So anyway, I'll write it down.
All right,
Yeah,
that, or maybe
yeah,
you can
yeah,
put
yeah.
it in. All right, good. Well, Marie, thanks again for joining us. I really appreciate you, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
All right,
Thank you.
all right,
That
thank
was
you.
very pleasure. Thank
Pleasure
you.
was all mine. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Marie. Okay. All right. Where are we? Where are we on time? 8:55. Wow. Okay. So we had a busy night tonight. Let's see. Before we go here, it's been so busy that I didn't get to talk about what's going on in the podcast. So I also said JeffMara music. I have some old music that I've produced, and I have some other ones that I'm eventually put up there, but I just kind of priming that channel for at some point I want to either do meditation music or binaural beats or some kind of something with that. So that's kind of there as well. That's what's in the thing. And then last is our merch, like our mugs and stuff like that. It's a little bit of a glare here. But we have a little bit of merch, and we're planning on working more. We just have to get it done. So that is there as well. And for those of you who have bought some, thank you very much for that. Let's see real quick here what's on the schedule. I've already done 2 podcasts that need to be edited and made ready. One of them I think is tomorrow's going to be an NDE, and then the next day, which I recorded this morning, was a man's 60 years of ET contact. And then tomorrow, what I'm gonna record that, I didn't put it in my notes. And then the next one's an NDE. And Leslie, wow, thank you very much for that, Leslie. Thank you for that. Super thanks. Appreciate that. And thank you, Shira, for that compliment. Appreciate it. So I don't know what that one is. I've got to keep my notes better. Then I have another NDE on Wednesday. And there's a guy on Thursday that I'm going to have. I don't know if you've heard of him. Someone asked me to get him, and I think he's pretty popular. His name's Howdy Mikowski. And if you know of him, I'm going to be meeting with him on Thursday, and then another NDE on Friday, and another NDE on Saturday. And I have another NDE one that I liked to post, and I didn't get a chance to post it this morning, but I'm gonna try to. It's already recorded, and I'm gonna try to post it next Saturday. Has anybody seen the documentary The Time Traveler from 3036? The guy who made the documentary interviewed the guy who would be a great guest for JeffMara podcast. Okay, I don't know that. Maybe that's from Colleen from New Hampshire, or NH. I'm assuming that's New Hampshire. But maybe you guys know about that. Happy birthday, Mara. My daughter was the 5th. And I wanted to say thank you all for the very nice birthday wishes to my beloved wife here, Mara, that you guys wrote for her. So thank you for that. And is there anything else before we go? We're like on time today. A lot of times we're here and we go over time, but we're right on time. Is there anything else that I need before we do go? Are we missing anything? My wife forgot too. She forgot, I forgot. And we're just kind of going from there. So, oh, Madiak. Did I say that? Oh, I did mention that. That Madiak, yeah, I did mention that. Madiak, thank you again for this tie. And I was going to wear it last week and I didn't make it, but I finally got it this time. And I'm having a little outro music. So I guess that's it, guys. It's right about almost 9 o'clock, so I just want to say thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. We had a busy night, and we'll be back tomorrow posting some new comments. So we appreciate you watching us, and we're thankful for your comments and for all your participation. And we really wish you guys an amazing 2023. So on that note, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. God bless you.